tired this morning. We are recording. My computer was tired as it was getting going recording. And interestingly enough, we're going to be talking about earth element today. So we're moving a little bit slower. It's okay.
Yes. We were just as talking about living with earth people and thought, oh, hey, why not record an episode about how to live with earth people?
Literally, we were chatting about it, and I was awake in the morning nursing my baby, and Helena had just gotten done with her day because we're 7 hours apart, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's always interesting, but we still I feel like intuitively are on the same page, and we were talking about our struggles with Taurus. And she lives with a very strong Taurus person, and so do I. And we were comparing notes. And as soon as we were comparing notes, we said we should record a podcast on this. And we said
Yeah,
it
we
at
wrote
the same time.
exact the same time. We should do an episode on this.
So here we are. It is 8 a.m. for me. What time is it by you? 3?
It's three in the afternoon. Yeah, because I actually was thinking about something similar the other day, about my relationship and sort of how to live with such a strong earth person. I thought, oh, this is good. It's good for people to know, because some of those, I feel like most of me and my partner's struggles are because we are elementally very far apart sometimes. I mean,
Yep.
I do have my moon and my ascendant in Capricorn, but still I have so much fire. I'm mostly fire in my chart.
Yep.
And that is what's shown. And he is like, I don't know, 80% earth or something. So it's good to know about,
it's really
about
good
those differences. Yes. And
Yeah.
how to deal with it. So should we start talking about Taurus people and how to
Yeah,
how
we
to
should,
live
because
with
that's
them?
what we weren't complaining, but we were complaining.
A little bit. We were complaining.
So, I am raising a very, very heavy Taurus child, and you live with a very heavy Taurus man. And I love Taurus so much when I need to stop working and just chill. However,
Yes.
when we need to go do and explore and try new things, OMG, it's
No.
exhausting.
It is, because Taurus people, okay, so for those of you who don't really know what Taurus is about, I always think of just like either Ferdinand the Bull,
Yes.
or also Marie Antoinette for some reason. Her just like life, just sitting in different places, eating cupcakes of different sorts. That's at least in my mind, that's what she did.
So
And like
interesting. We just watched a show on her
yeah.
like 2 weeks ago. So interesting you bring her up.
Yeah. And like, so Tauruses love comfort, sitting in a comfortable place, eating food, comfort food, chocolate. They love chocolate. They are all about the senses. Like, you have to have you can't have a cardigan that's itchy. It has to be comfortable, and like listening to nice things. They get irritated when one of their senses is like, if something, if there's a bad smell or something.
Yes. Okay. So I knit and I crochet, one of my bajillion hobbies. And I knit a sweater for Elliot when he was probably 4. And it took me forever. And as you know, with a lot of air and fire, I tend to struggle finishing projects. So I tend to start them and I get almost done. I'm talking like 85, 90% done. And then I just abandon the project. This is normal in my world. To push through that 10% is something I've had to mature into. But I made this sweater for him. And I don't know, for some reason, I thought the yarn would not be as irritating, as itchy once it was a sweater and like I washed it and stuff. But I made a wool sweater. Cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Knit the whole thing, cutie little buttons. I put it on him one time. He immediately ripped it off and said, too itchy, and would never try it again.
Yeah.
Never wore it again.
Yeah.
I was
Typical
so
Taurus.
devastated. I was so devastated because I put my time and effort and I finished the project And I even did this thing called blocking, which is irritating, and you have to like pin it down to cardboard to make it
Oh,
the right shape and size so that the yarn and fabric can work together. And he never wore it. It's in a box put away,
no.
and it's just like for
Yeah.
display, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. I live with a Taurus person, and he has a thing about, well, many things, but one of the things is with the fridge and food. If food or anything actually at home, but mostly the fridge because it's about food, and food is very important to Taurus people. Uh, he will not eat it. Like the slightest smell, like it doesn't even have to be a bad smell. Sometimes it can just smell a lot. Like cheese can smell a lot, or it
If it's
yes,
just an
it's so
intense
funny.
smell. Yeah.
If it's an intense smell, I have this face cream that he thinks smells like eggs. And every time I wear it and he goes to kiss me, he's like, what? Eggs. And
I
I'm like,
almost spit
eggs.
out my tea there.
And I mean, to me, like eggs, well, okay, but eggs
Right.
doesn't smell too bad, right?
No.
But like no. Like with Taurus people, they're so sensitive. All of their senses are so sensitive. So it has to be,
Yeah.
I mean, those things annoy the fuck out of them.
Yeah, for real. Elliot
Mm,
has such a keen sense of smell, and I do aromatherapy, and I've done it since he was 4 years old. And he was very, very difficult when we were needing to use certain oils with him for certain health ailments and such that he didn't like. Like he would turn into an angry bull. And his
mm.
sun, Mercury, and moon, all in Taurus, in the 10th house of Capricorn, which is like, I feel like double stubbornness or quadruple, triple stubborn. I don't know. Three
Yeah.
Taurus signs in the house of Capricorn. Like, how do you work with that? Right? You
Oh
just
my
gotta
God.
put like a cookie on a string and hang it in front of them and be like, "Come this way, honey."
But oh, I have to say, my partner has all of his. He has six Taurus placements, and they fall in the 11th house, which is
So
the house.
he's a weirdo Taurus.
Yes, he's a weirdo Taurus, and so the 11th house is all about freedom and community, all of those things. So he is so stubborn and so independent. Like the
Yeah,
11th house, also the independence. That is a really interesting combination. It's so
it
fun to
is.
like, I mean, it's not always fun, but it's so interesting to look at that. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Every time we fight, or if it's something that's really hard for him, you can see it from there, from the 11th house
Uh-huh.
Taurusness.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and they're both fixed signs.
They are.
So I
Yeah.
deal with that with my crazy Aquarius kid. She's got all of her stuff in Aquarius except Uranus and Mars are in Taurus, and they're
Yeah.
squaring all of the each other's, right?
Mm,
It's those fixed placements are, man, they're no joke.
mm.
They're
No, it's
no
very stubborn. And like Taurus, I mean, there's a lot of signs that are stubborn. And I think they're stubborn in different ways.
uh-huh.
Taurus is like we were talking about, I think their stubbornness stems from that they always have to be comfortable. They don't want to jeopardize their comfortableness, their comfort.
For real. For real.
Yeah.
And this is actually what we were talking about living with people like this is it takes a surrendering kind of energy. Like you really have to surrender to the fact that A, you can't push them. You can't.
Mm.
B, you can't push them.
Yes.
And C, don't try and push them, right? Like I've
No.
learned this is actually what really this thing right here that we're talking about, this stubbornness of not being able to push these fixed people is what got me into astrology fully. Like this is the thing
Mm.
that launched me off the astro curious plane and really kicked me into I need to know astrology because he was probably about 18 months old and I think he was actually it must have been when his Taurus progressed moon or Taurus, you start off with a Taurus moon and then it progresses and he went into a Gemini progressed moon and we'll talk about that. But it was when he shifted and I realized I can't push this kid. Like he had the ability to verbalize then and tell me, no, right? I'm not going to do what you want. And his early life was easy because I just fed him and loved him and took care of him. And, and then all of a sudden, about 18, 20 months, independence. And I don't want to do that. And resistance started. And I felt as a mom, like I kept running into a wall. That's like
Mm.
the energy of it. I felt like I kept smacking into a wall every time I would try to kind of force him to do something or push him to do something, right? It's like, no, we have to get our shoes on. We're going out the door. And no, those shoes don't feel good. My socks feel funny, right? Whatever it is.
Yes.
That
It's
sweater isn't right.
uncomfortable.
And it was at that time I realized I had to learn his chart because I was for real running into a wall. And,
Yeah.
if you want to think of Taurus as a big mountain, that's really what I was doing. Just trying
Mac.
to move a mountain and it wasn't working. So,
And how did you find a way to sort of like lure him into doing the things that he needed to do? How do you trick a Taurus?
snacks.
Snacks. So do you trick him with snacks, or do you just say, if you do this, you will get snacks?
Well, at this time, I was a professional dog trainer, full time, and I found that he responded very similarly to dogs when I would like give him a treat.
Oh, okay. So he did something good. You gave him a treat.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I
Okay.
feel
Yes.
so, I feel so funny saying this, but I kind of trained him like that. He was
Yes. Yes.
so easy to potty train. He was in undies by like 15 months old because we would just give him snacks all the time. Like, here, have this little graham cracker, have this little slice of apple, have this, dish of yogurt. Like, he
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. That's how
food
he.
was
It was.
phenomenal.
That's not a bad idea at all. So for the like, oh my God. Okay, if I had a Taurus child, I would do this for
You
sure.
train them with food, and I'm not even joking. It was one of the best things we could have ever done. And even now, if he wants to do something or eat something or whatever, like we make him do chores first and then he can eat the thing.
Okay, that's great. I'm wondering now, just like, how do you do this with an adult? Like, not train him and not like make him do what he like, but a little bit, because sometimes there's just such a big difference between because I have a lot of fire in my chart, and my partner has so much earth, and I want to go for adventures and stuff, and he just wants to stay at home in the sofa and and be
Okay, so you
comfortable.
go on the adventure, whether it's a hike or go to explore a new place, and then say, and then we'll find a really good restaurant to go and
Yeah.
check out afterwards.
Exactly. Okay, so grown-up stuff like, oh, and then we buy a really good bottle of wine, or like,
Yeah.
then we go and tomorrow we just stay in bed all day long and you don't have to move.
Yes. Oh, there you
Okay.
go. Yeah,
Yes.
we'll go
There
out
we
for
go.
gelato and we'll have some cappuccino or whatever his thing is, right? Like you find the
Yeah.
thing that they love
Hmm.
and then that's the reward.
Yeah. Okay.
As they're older, you can extend the time frame between treats.
And I think also, I mean, treats is such a fundamental thing, like really going straight to the to the basics of it, like what it is to be a human. But I think when they get older, also, you can, with Taurus people, you can lure them away with like promises of maybe nice clothes, or like
A movie date.
a movie day, like others, for
Yeah.
other senses as well,
Other
not just eating, but
or let's go get a massage. We'll go for a hike and then I have massages scheduled for us.
mm,
Or,
mm,
a pedicure, whatever feels good to them.
mm. Yeah, and I just want to add something, because I find that my partner, he actually don't really like massages. Like, that can be too much for him. He's so
Yeah.
much Taurus.
Mhm.
So sometimes when someone has a lot of placements in a sign,
Is
it
that a
can,
thing? Elliot hates massages. Like
yeah,
hates them. He
yeah,
says
no,
he says they're too much. They hurt. And I'm like, I'm barely touching you.
they're
Like that hurts.
so sensitive. What I can do to my partner is I pat his head like this, like a cat.
Yeah.
uh, just super super soft, and not even like, sometimes I would think like, oh, maybe like scratching. No, just like super
No.
soft, and like just doing this to his arm,
Yeah.
like just stroking the arm. That is enough. Like, going to massage, I think, is too much for someone with a lot of Taurus
All right. I
placements,
need
because
I
it's so
need you.
sensitive.
listeners to weigh in. If you have 2 or more Taurus placements, let us know if massage is a thing for you or not, because this is now 2 people we're talking about that it's too much for them. And I've
Yeah.
always found it weird because I
It's the best
love.
thing ever, massage.
Ooh,
Yes. Oof. And the harder, the better. It's like, oh, yes.
get in there. Yeah. Yeah. I really like the massages where you feel like you're leaving it bruised and broken.
I want to know that it worked. I want it to be practical.
That's so funny. I just looked up your chart. If
Yeah.
you are ever interested in the elemental makeup of a chart, you can go to astrotheme.com and on the left-hand side it'll say find your dominant element. And I did that. So you are 43.4% fire and 29% earth. So it's a big chunk of your chart.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I do feel a lot of those like Capricorn things, but in the sort of day-to-day daily things, I am more fire. Like I move around fast. I'm not slow. I am a fast person, but my needs are Capricorn. I have Capricorn needs, so I need to be efficient, but I want to do it fast.
Yeah. I love this pie chart. This makes my brain so happy. I've done this for each of my kids so I can see what I'm dealing with. I think
great.
For parents, this is one of the most helpful things is
yes, you're just looking at that. It's like, okay, I get me.
Yep. You have 13% air, 13% water, 29% earth, and 43% fire. That tells me, oh, you need to move. You need action and activity, and then a good amount of rest time afterwards.
Yeah.
And you can articulate things and you can feel things, although those aren't your dominant characteristics.
No, they're not. Those are the things that I work with. I have to push myself to talk, air, about feelings, water.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love this. This program has
cool.
a cool
Astrotheme.com.
Astrotheme.com, and it's find your dominant element. And I think it is immensely helpful just to look at somebody's elements and go, oh, you are missing fire. Okay, let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
So
no, that's great. But so there's also so many good things about Taurus.
Yeah.
I know your kid keeps you alive by feeding you.
I'm so grateful. So grateful.
So many times when we sit and record or just sit and talk, he comes in with a plate for you. Like, here you go. I made you some food. And he's 13.
He's just turned 14. Yeah. And he has been doing this since he was probably 4 years old. I actually, in the book Dare to Express, found on Amazon, I wrote my chapter in that book, and it is about a moment in my life where it was really, really like the worst as far as hormone imbalance, stress management. I have Uranus opposite my moon, exact degree, and Uranus is in the 6th house. My stress system was crashing and my emotions were everything was going. And he was 4.5 years old, and in that chapter I tell about how he essentially saved me by his compassion and understanding and his stability while I was losing my shit and falling apart. He made me a plate of food. He was like, at this time I think he was 6 years old in this particular chapter. He was 6 years old, and I remember vividly like this little plate of like animal crackers and carrots and apples, and like he knew like how to show love to me in the way he does. Right here, have food. And I desperately needed it, and he's done that so many times I can't even count. And I do need to honor that and acknowledge that because he does keep me alive. And you're not even
Taurus people are amazing with stability, with holding you. They are so much earth, and there's also super loyal people. And what I love about my partner is that I can, when I freak out, and if I'm feeling super hormonal or whatever, he holds me so well. They're so good at this, and I love it. And they're very practical, and they're very good at like making a plan and let's see, sticking to it.
Elliot
Sort
really
of good
needs
sticking to
to
it.
he really needs to have a plan. Like
Mm,
if we go to bed and he doesn't ask me what's going on tomorrow, like something's
yeah.
wrong, right? Like that is our routine. He comes in, says goodnight, says he loves me like 7,000 times, which I love. And
My
okay,
partner does the same. He tells me I love you all of the time.
and
Maybe
I'm
that's
like,
also
okay,
Taurus
honey,
thing.
I get it. Thank you. Okay, I love you too. Yep.
Me too. Okay, likewise. Thank you.
This is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, this is funny. So he comes in and tells me he loves me a whole bunch of times and then asks me, what's going on tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow? And my Aries self doesn't know what's going on in the next 10 minutes. So I try to give him a general breakdown of the plan. And then I remind him, you need to stay flexible. And that's
Yeah.
how we get through our days. Here's the general
Mm.
layout. And you live with a mother who doesn't stick to plans. So
Yeah.
be aware of
No,
that.
they're very like they can get super irritable if you change their plans or if plans change, things come up because they need to know because Earth doesn't if it's not so flexible it cracks it doesn't do well with change. So if you have a partner or a kid or whatever, if you just let them know the plans, like my partner is the same. I'm on my vacation now and he's not, and he has his need to know what I'm doing on my week, like day to day. And I'm like, I'm free as a bird. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And he's like, it
But what's your
stresses him
plan?
out. Even if he's not part of it because he's working, it stresses him out that I don't have a plan.
Come
So
on, lady, get a plan.
I love not having a plan.
I feel you. This is why we
Yeah,
work well together.
yeah.
We have been recording this show now for a while. And what are we on? Week 44 or something.
What
So
if, yeah,
we're rounding the corner to a year, 52 weeks, right?
yeah.
And have we had a consistent schedule with recording?
We tried in the beginning, oh, for a little bit, I think.
We
It
did for a
changed
little
very
bit.
fast.
We were
We did
like,
Tuesdays or something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
Thursdays? I don't know.
we did a week or a day of the week for a couple weeks, and then life happened.
Yeah,
And this would drive, Virgo energy nuts or
yeah,
Taurus energy, right? Like, how do you not know when you're going to record?
yeah.
How do you not know? And meanwhile, I'm
Yes.
laying in bed at 7:20 in the morning going, hey, you want to record at 8?
Yeah. And I'm like, perfect. See you in 40.
Excellent. And that is not how you live with a earth person.
No, I mean it's hard for them. So if you live with an earth person and you're very not earthy, just remember that they are this way because they need the stability, they need the comfort of their home and whatever. So don't bang your head into a wall. But just, you know, every element has ups and downs and every sign has good and hard things. So just knowing that, okay, this is the Taurus, that's fine, I'll leave him alone, he can stay home. Or if you want to do something, tell them a while before it's going to happen.
They need advanced warning.
Yeah, they need advanced warning.
I have found that earthy people do not enjoy surprises.
Hate them.
I would not propose to them on the Jumbotron at the sports game. No. It would not be a good idea. I would not. Although I did throw my Capricorn mother a surprise party for her 60th birthday 10 years ago. That was the one and only time that will ever happen. And we got her really, really good. And it was great. But the look on her face, and like it took her so long to recover. And she was just so shocked. I'm talking for weeks. She was shocked.
Yeah.
She couldn't believe this.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend surprises or surprise parties.
No.
I
No,
learned
yes.
that's not good.
And let them have their lists of to-do things and let them ask you a million times, what are we doing? And all of those things.
Or if you're going to surprise them, tell them you're going to surprise them and then tell them to act surprised.
This is what I did this to my partner once. I
Did you
wanted to
really?
buy him a I wanted to buy him a trip to see his friend in France, but I'm like, I can't just buy this ticket. So I was like, so let's, what if I would buy you a ticket for Christmas to go see your friend? He's like, I would like that. I'm like, okay, well,
Okay.
it just, it could happen. He's like, okay, okay.
I like that. That's
Yeah,
the kind of approach I feel like Earth people really appreciate. It's
yeah,
it's spontaneous but planned.
yeah, yeah. Let them have, I mean, there's so much about control. So let them have a little bit of that control. They
Yeah.
need it. They need to have some control.
How many Virgo people do you have in your life? Do you know?
Not many,
I
barely
don't
any.
I don't have many. I have quite a few people with Virgo moon, but
Mm,
Virgo sun, dominant Virgo traits, not very many at all. My business coach has her Virgo sun and Virgo rising.
that's
Um,
great.
right? I know. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to learn from you.
Yeah.
You are the type of business coach I need to have in my life. I really
Yes.
enjoy Virgo moon. I think my Gemini moon really appreciates the intellectual aspects there,
Yeah.
right? But
Mm,
if I were to imagine living with Virgo, I would have to find the area where they are organized and disciplined and diligent and respect that, right? Virgos are not organized and analytical and diligent about their whole life. It's usually certain areas like their
mm,
office or their home or their refrigerator or what, you know what I mean? There's like specifics.
yeah.
So I would have to find that in their chart. Is it, second house energy? Is it seventh house energy? Where is this Virgo coming out? And then respect their need for organization and comply with that, because
Yeah.
otherwise they're going to judge you.
Hmm. I always think when I think about Virgo, I always think of compartmentalizing. I always think of someone like putting all of their pens in a row, or like putting all the I don't know, tomatoes in the in the special
Yeah.
place, just arranging things because I think they work very much like that. They need also structure and order, sort of like Taurus, but Virgo is a little bit more refined, or like they like
Yes.
to be well presented. And that's also where the analytical part comes in. They are very analytical and can be. So if you live with a Virgo, they probably, they probably clean up after you a lot and maybe lets you know that you are a very messy person, and that could be quite hard sometimes, and it
Mhm.
could be a little bit of critiquing to your partner. uh, but they also have a stronger inner critic as well, so
They do.
it's good to know that that critique that comes out of their mouth to others, it's the same goes inwards to themselves, so it's not
Or maybe even
always.
harsher.
Yeah, yeah, it's not so easy. I do have one a colleague who's a Virgo, and it was so interesting. I saw it immediately. They're also very gentle. Like she's very like super like gentle and slow. Earth is very slow, and they do things in an order. And always when it's about lunchtime, usually everyone's like, okay, it's lunch, I'm going. But she's always like the response you always get from her is, I just need to finish up something. And then she will stay and finish up the work and make it perfect because she needs to do it herself. And she needs to make sure that it's done properly.
Yes.
And then she will go.
That's yes. That is
Yeah.
exactly. I did a reading yesterday for my friend and massage therapist who has two women working for her now, and she wants to create this really nice, strong, cohesive team. So her Aquarius moon, she's got like 5 planets in Capricorn, but she's Aquarius moon and Aquarius Mercury. And she said, Laura, will you come and do astrology readings for the 3 of us so we know how to connect with each other? And I was
Mm.
like, oh, that's brilliant. I love that. So I went there yesterday, and her newest uh, uh, massage person is Virgo sun, and her Virgo sun is in the 6th house, and she's a massage therapist, and we were talking about what her specialty is, and she does this certain specialty that has some initials that I don't remember, but basically if you have physical pain in your body, she is going to go through your whole body top to bottom and find the root cause of it, whether it's your big toe is crooked or whatever. And she's going to get at every specific thing to find it. And the way she was talking and the way she was describing it, my brain was like, I just read her chart, just read it. And I was like, look at that Virgo come out right there, right? Look at her. She is going to, and she's basically telling me how she's going to do this. And my brain is like, yeah, I know you're going to be really good at finding all that, because you are going to analyze and make sure that person doesn't leave that massage table until you have finished the whole thing, right?
Yes,
the whole project, the whole procedure.
The super detail and I mean that's amazing. Like with work like that, like she'll make sure to find that little pinky toe or whatever that's crooked. Like they will go through everything. I always think of also like that Virgos are sort of the zodiac's the nurse of the zodiac. Like they're very like take care of others and all of that. And also sort of like the accountant, like they will take care of others and they will make sure it's done in a very orderly way and the
They'll do their
perfect
charting.
way. Like
They'll put all this, they'll get all the information where it needs to go. So I have not had a massage with her yet. I'm getting one next Friday, and I'm excited to experience this massage from this Virgo energy and see what this is like, right?
I think that would be really nice to have like a massage from a Virgo, like very slow and detailed and just go through everything.
Yes.
That's good.
Very excited. So I thought that was interesting because she'd never heard of astrology. Really, she'd heard of it, but she'd never done anything with it or experienced it. And I was like, oh, an astrology virgin.
Yes.
So afterwards, I said, what did you think? She was like, spot on. Like the look on her face was almost shock and awe. And I was like, yeah.
Hit the spot.
She was analyzing it big time. And I think I opened up a whole new Pandora's box for her brain. So I'm excited to work with a Virgo. I don't, like I said, I've got Virgo moons, and I really love their emotional need to be of service. Right? They love to be, how can I help you? How can I help you live your life better? Can I come and organize something? Why, yes, you can. Please help me. Or yes, please, right here. Right. So all of my Virgo moon friends help me either organize, clean, or make like meal prep.
It's so funny. I wrote some short like sort of I wrote like short astro readings or whatever to a group of people the other day, and I never met them. But they responded to me, and it was so funny because one of them I wrote like, you probably love like sort.
Oh, we lost your sound.
Yeah, so I wrote to her about her that she probably loves organizing her closet. And they had just talked about like her birthday gift to her friend was that she was going to come and organize her friend's closet. So that's a very Virgo thing. And I actually have a niece who has a Virgo moon, and I see it also very clearly. Like she's very, and she has a Libra sun. So she's all about like taking care of others.
Service. Yeah.
Yes, and always comes up to you like, oh, do you need this? And let me do this. And she always, when she was very little, she used to, you would just give her like a little rag and she would play that she's cleaning things.
Yes.
She would just wipe things.
So my crazy Aquarius kiddo is a Virgo rising, and I see that picking up energy and the organizing. She helps me fold laundry. She's 28 months. And I'm like, I think I got one that cleans. I'll take that. So I feel like energy wise, if you're going to live with a Virgo, you have to recognize that, the word clean is important to them in specific areas of their life. Again, not the whole life. They might be super disorganized in like this realm, but even their super disorganization might look really, really organized to a passionate, chaotic Scorpio Pisces mixture, right? Like the organization of a Virgo is just generally like they generally overall keep things pretty clean and functional.
Yeah, don't be offended if they clean after you clean. You go and clean something you think is done, and then they come after and that they clean it in their way, in the good way.
Oh,
don't be offended because it's just
I need that
you just
information. I needed that information. Grandma, my mom's mom, grandma was a Virgo, and she would frequently clean after.
Oh, Laura, sorry. Now my neighbor is coming. Hang on. Hey.
All right. We're having a fun recording, aren't we?
We are.
Interruptions of life. That's the fun part. We were talking about Virgo and cleaning up after you. You know, as my mom's mom would do that all the time. And my mom assumed it was her not being good enough, right? Like she wasn't doing it good enough. And I wish my mom would have recognized as a, child or even an adult that it wasn't about that at all. Like grandma just really liked things a certain way, and that was her Virgo energy. She had like 3 planets in Virgo. Like that's how she is. But I would have liked to have known that too, because man, it is hard not to take that personal.
Yes. Yes, because I'm sure that they can also, like Virgos can just throw in some words that sound very critical.
Oh.
And that's just how it could come across, or just by the action of like cleaning something that you just cleaned. And it's like, what? I didn't do good enough? But they just are very specific. And that's sort of their permission, or their path in life. Like let them do that. Let them
I want to point out that everybody has this energy, all of the energies in their chart. Everybody has Virgo somewhere in their chart, right? Even if you have no planets there, even if you have nothing rocking there, that area of life is where you will feel that. And for me, as you're talking about this, my brain's like, oh, I do this in my home. Well, I have Virgo in my 4th house. My whole 4th house is Virgo. So yeah, I'm really specific about I just actually talked to Philip about this with the kids, and they're each on 2 chores for the whole month, and then we rotate. And we're at the end of the month. I said, we need to do an assessment for them because they did not pass the class of laundry. This one did not pass dishes this month. This one did not. Like, we need to go through and teach them how to vacuum properly and how to clean out a sink properly. I'm really weird about this, even though you guys, I have no earth in my chart except for Chiron. But I'm very anal retentive about my home. Now, over the years, I've had to let it go with each kid, but still it's there. Like I feel it. I want my home a certain way. I really want it to be in this certain state of cleanliness. Yeah. And kids don't give a shit.
No.
No. Except my 2-year-old, she does. She's like, I got you, mama. Yes.
Yes.
One of you. Yes. But so even if you don't have Virgo in your chart and you have it in your 4th house, you'll feel this in your home, So how do you live with a Capricorn, Helena? How's that work? How can one live with a Capricorn effectively?
Do you hear me?
Oh, there okay, we
good.
go. Yeah.
I lost. Yeah, I lost you a little bit.
Yeah. How does one live with a Capricorn effectively? I live with Capricorns my whole life.
Yeah, you do. I think that also when it comes to Capricorn, they could come across as a little harsh, like not so, they don't like being in their feelings. So if you have a mother or a partner or whatever is Capricorn, it could come across as like, let's just get the work done. Yes. And they also like to decide what's going to happen. It's very much a leader sign. And I think that let them take the lead in maybe organizing and planning out and structuring things that's going to happen around your home. Yeah. And they will be happy with that. And also make sure that they you stick with that plan. They need to see progress.
They do. Progress is important, and making sure that when things are done, they're done right the first time. They don't want to redo things. That's not. I have a an interesting observation of Capricorns, though. They don't like to have to redo things, but they tend to redo other people's things to make them better or make them fixed, right?
So
Like
sort of like Virgo.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's
Like
not
I know how to
necessarily
do it better.
right, not necessarily in the cleaning way, but like for example, my husband does construction and he fixes a lot of crappy construction work, right? Like he has to go back and redo this job that a contractor did crappy before him. So, and my mom, her whole life had to, for her work, she basically fixed the books for people at the university and the professors for their travel logs and things like that. Like she had to make sure things were done well and done right, but typically she was redoing it because someone didn't do it right the first time. But they don't
Mm.
want their work to have to be redone because they don't like doing that. So if you live with a Capricorn, just know that if you're not going to do it well, let them do it.
Yes.
Let them do it. It's important. They can come across, I feel like a little cold is the word that
Yeah.
keeps coming up. There's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of warmth to Capricorn. It's not that they can't be warm. It's just that, and I'm talking emotionally, like, you know,
Mm.
and verbally, right? There's not a lot of touchy feels coming from them very frequently. So I think recognizing that is really important. That doesn't mean they don't care about you and that they don't think about you and that they don't want to be with you. It's just they're not the most romantic people.
No, they are not. And I think that their love will come through in doing things for you, making things work. You know,
100%.
yeah, building things, fixing
Yes.
things, bringing you gifts. I have a friend who's a Capricorn sun, and she always brings me gifts
Oh my
from the farm that she has, and like I told you, always when I'm there, I'm sort of put to work because let's be efficient. And what do you mean vacation? There's always something that needs to be done. You know,
Yes.
they feel good doing things and sort of working.
Yeah, oh, for sure. My mother and husband share a birthday 30 years apart and December 23rd. And even my kids see when they go to Oma's house, they do things like they work, they go outside and they weed, they go out, they cut the grass, they, you know, like there's always something that we're doing. And that was my childhood as well. And then, of course, I go and marry this man who does the same thing. So it keeps my airy, fiery self very stimulated. But
Mm.
one thing I think definitely to take note of, if you live with somebody with Capricorn dominance, they're so good at bursting your bubble. If you are a really
Oh,
optimistic
yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
ideal person and you really like to glass half full through life, right? You're looking at the glass and you're like, that is half full. Capricorn will say, actually, hang on, right? Like they'll give
Yeah.
up the measure and they'll like really make sure that you have all of the accurate information and
Yes.
they're good at bursting bubbles,
Yeah.
excitement bubbles.
They don't want to be they're not meaning to be shitty to you. They are just like, oh no, that facts are not right.
Right.
Let's get that is not the right information. And I feel that side of me comes out a lot too. I'm very good at being the one who's like sees it from another way and like, yeah, we could do that, but
Yes.
did you think
Yes.
about this thing?
Yep.
They
And
just want it to work. They just want it to be efficient and productive, and they want you to succeed, and they want to succeed at things. So, and you can't unless you have the right information first.
that's the thing, making sure it's done right, making sure
Yeah,
you're not going into a hopeless venture, right?
yeah,
And my husband says, whenever I'll go, don't burst my bubble. And he'll go, that's my job. Like he knows
yeah.
he is here to make me see the reality of it. And I will frequently have to preface my conversations with, I'm just dreaming and putting ideas out there. You don't need to cut any of them down right now. Okay. So I will let him know I don't want your bubble bursting. Keep your little darts in your pocket right now, please. Thank you.
But I'm sure that he will burst some bubbles, but he will probably think about those ideas all day long and at night. And when you wake up the next day, it's like, I was thinking about that thing you said. If we
Yes.
do it in this way, it
That's exactly
would
what
work.
happens. So it's like
Mm.
I sprinkle all of the seeds in the earthy Capricorn realm, and then he decides this one is not a seed I want to germinate. That one's no, that's stupid. Why are we growing squash in with the peas? No, get right.
Doesn't
Like,
make sense.
no. So he weeds out the weeds that aren't meant to be there, and then we focus on this. And then the next day or two, he'll say, "Hey, you know that thing?" And then we go with it. So I keep just chucking handfuls of seeds at him to
Yeah.
see what germinates.
That's
But
perfect.
Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, and that is traditionally the farmer. It rules
Mm.
farming and agriculture. So that
Yeah.
makes sense that your Capricorn friend would want you to go out and do weeding with her. My husband
Yeah.
does gardening and farming, and my mom is always out with plants and weeding. So feed your Tauruses need food, and the Capricorns are going to grow it, and the Virgos are going to make sure everything's clean and prepared properly.
Yes, for sure.
All the dishes are done and put away.
Yeah. Yeah. And Capricorn is also very, if you are getting romantic with a Capricorn, they will probably take some time to like decide on you, because they want to make sure that is this, they need to look at it from every angle and like, is this something that could work out? Is it manageable? Is it, are we gonna succeed at this? So they can be slow to like warm up to you, but when they're on your hook, or if you're on their hook or whatever, they are there. They're also like, all Earth people are very, in it for the long run. They
Yes.
don't like change too much. So
They tend to be quite loyal. There's a
yeah,
loyalty. It's different with each earth sign, but there's a loyalty with each of them. A certain,
yeah,
a type of loyalty. I feel
yeah.
like Tauruses are really like the most overall loyal,
Mm,
and they can take a lot of hits. They can get stuck in relationships that aren't healthy anymore, that they need to
mm,
move out of. Virgos are loyal, but and will stay, but will be grumbly and analyze and judgmental about it, right? And Capricorns will probably be loyal and stay if they're in an unhealthy relationship, but then throw themselves into work,
mm,
kind of
yeah.
not deal with the issues. And so it's interesting how each of the earth signs kind of processes. And of course, it's
Mm,
different for each planet that's there, but these are broad overall in general terms, of course,
mm,
that's what we're talking
mm. And for Capricorn as well, responsibility is a huge thing.
for sure.
So if you can relieve your children or your partner or whatever from feeling their responsibility, I mean, they're great at being responsible, so let them be responsible. But it can be, you probably don't see all of the responsibility that they have made up in their own head that they have. So to remind, especially children, I think, uh, that to play and have fun, and that they don't bear all the responsibility, is really good.
Exactly. That's a
Yeah.
great, that is a great thing to remember when living with Capricorn energy.
Mm.
This is not the fun sign of the zodiac, you guys. This is not. this is this is
Yeah,
energy that does not even really do well having fun. Like they need help having fun. So
they
if you have
do.
Capricorn kids, help them have fun and remind them
Mm.
that their job is not to parent their siblings or their friends, right? They can play too. They're a kid. They can go play. You don't have to. No, you honey, you don't have to take care of Tommy. Nope, you're not his. Nope, you're not his daddy. Come on, go play.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
like
No, for sure. It's really like that. I mean, Saturn is the ruler and the 10th house, and it's all about work. So it's not natural for them to play, because they're just thinking about, well, why would I play? There's things that needs to be done. So yes, really work hard at pushing them out and have fun,
right.
you
And
know?
they may not even know what play should feel
No.
like or
Mm-mm.
be like. And I know this has been a thing with my husband. His family didn't grow up playing very much. There wasn't a lot of excess joy and fun in his childhood. And I'm not cutting anybody down. That's just the reality. They were hardworking farmers and hardworking people. And it makes sense that he's got 5 planets in Capricorn. And he chose me because he needed fun in his life. He needed to learn how to play. And I can do that. I'm quite
Mm.
good at that. So That's where I think our partnership really balances well, right? He helps me to get more serious, and I help him to lighten the fuck up, man.
Yes, yes, it can really be like it's the sort of the boring person. It's the responsible one, the mature one
Yeah.
in the
He's
whole
asked me
zodiac.
before, why are you with me? Like, what do you find interesting about me? I was like,
Oh
well,
no, such a
you're
Capricorn thing to ask. Like, why?
yeah. He's asked me, he's like, aren't I boring? I was like, well, you can be, yes. And I need that and I like that. And it's okay. Like, but you're also
Mm,
stable and hardworking, and I need that too. So we don't both need to be the playful ones. That wouldn't work. No.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you're a Capricorn, and because I feel like a lot of people with, because I have so much Capricorn, everywhere I looked when learning about astrology in the beginning was talking about how boring we are, and it made me feel really bad and sad. But it's not too bad being boring. Come on, you know, you're super stable, you get things done, and like Capricorns can achieve amazing things. Every sign needs to remember to do more one thing that doesn't come naturally to them. And what Capricorns need to remember is to play.
Yeah, for real.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Yep. I love that. So living with an earth dominant person overall, I think is you need to recognize that you cannot push earth people. Like, just don't even try. You're going to run into a wall. I learned that. You have to coax them with food or with cleanliness or with work, right? Like, there's some type of coaxing involved. You do not push them. It's just not a thing. But recognizing there's certain traits, right? Being
Mm.
understanding of these traits and being understanding of their hard energy. And yes, it's okay to laugh at them because they need that. As we're laughing about our Taurus men this morning, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. All Earth has a seriousness to it, and it's because it's the other side of the coin of loyalty is sort of seriousness. Like loyalty is serious,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
If you're gonna get things done, if you're gonna make things work, that's pretty serious stuff.
it is. It is.
So it's
Absolutely.
just yeah, all everything has, you know, it can become, you just need to find a good balance with
Mhm.
it and have permission slips and, you know, be understanding and just honor the good sides and the bad.
Excellent advice. Yes, I agree. I do enjoy my earthy people. I really do. I think there's so many good qualities, especially their food.
Yeah.
I love their cooking. And I feel like all earth people in some way have some type of food specialty, whether they know it or not.
Mm.
There's some type of food specialty there, whether they're a good critique of certain tastes, a food critic, or whether they know how to make it or just really, really value and understand growing it, right? There's some type of food energy with earth
Mm.
people that is it just goes deep with them, you know?
Mm. It does.
I
Yeah,
love
so
it.
that's Earth. And I think we're gonna in the future dig into fire people, air
Oh,
people,
we
and
have
water
to.
people as well.
We have to, for sure.
Yeah.
Because the next conversation we have in the morning where we're like, hey, this person's driving me nuts. Let's go chat about it.
Yes. Yeah.
I
To
love
be
it.
ourselves.
It will be
Yeah.
100%. I frequently irritate myself on the regular. So we can talk
Mm.
about air people all the time. Oh, I'm so glad we got to chat this morning. Thank you for listening in, everybody. And feel free to like, share, thumbs up, comment, buy us a
Buy
coffee
us
or tea.
buy us a coffee, yes, please.
Yes, all of the things to support
Mm.
us. And if you have some earth people in your life that you love, go and weed the garden with them.
Mm. Make them a pie.
Make them a pie.
Or
Yes.
pat them.
Or yes, or pet them like a cat.
Yeah. Stroke them.
I
They
love it.
like that.
Awesome. Take care. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.